Hello, English 271 students. I'm Dr. Willis. I will be your instructor for spring 2019, and this video is designed to get you started in my course. I'm going to go over a few points on the syllabus. I'm not going to read it verbatim because you can read it on your own, but I just want to point out where some things are in the class so you can go ahead and get started on the right foot. So I'm going to do a screen share so you can follow along with me in the course. Okay, so we're going to go to the class, which I already have up, and I have it in student view. So this is basically what you are going to be seeing without the purple thing on the bottom. A couple things about the homepage. I do have the class set up, so the most recent announcements are going to be posted here on the top. On the getting started welcome message, I haven't put the link to this video yet because I'm not done making it. A couple of things to point out here: new announcements and stuff that's coming up quickly will be posted here. I know there's a lot of stuff initially, but don't be scared. It's not a lot of things that are going to take a ton of time other than the reading maybe for the quiz. Also, I do want to point out the course calendar here. If you need to work ahead, see what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Love the pop-ups on MSN. Anywho, you can go ahead and view the course calendar. But the things I want to go through initially, besides the homepage, are the modules and the syllabus. Modules tab, you're going to see the course overview, which I'll be going over here in a second. And then I will break down, after the first initial things, your modules tab by tests. Here's some files that are going to be useful to you for test 1. And I'm going to be adding to this week, I think. And then I break it down by week. So we have week 1 of the course. The reading assignment will be here. A link to one of the things I'd like you to read. Also, if you have trouble getting your book in the first week, I do have the first reading. Now, I don't have anything else published yet, but I will be working on completing probably at least the first 5 weeks of the course over the first week of class. But the entire first week is posted, and we are ready to get started. So let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus. Again, I'm not going to read this verbatim. That would be boring for both you and me, but there are some things that have caught up students in the past that I do want to point out. This is the second video I'm making, so my voice is starting to go a little bit. Okay, so a couple of things. One, I do have a copy of the syllabus in a PDF file. I do recommend that you download this and print it, just so you have a copy of the syllabus. And in fact, if you wanted to pause this video right now to download and print it so you can follow along, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay, so syllabus for the course. My contact information is here. I'm Dr. David Willis. My office number in Bruton is here. Now, if you leave a voicemail on my office number, I do get an email notification of that, along with your voicemail. So if you call my office and leave a voicemail, I can access it from anywhere. This is my cell phone. I'll go over the etiquette for that in a little bit, but do keep in mind that since this is my personal contact number, there are limitations on when you can text me and call me. Emails here, but also feel free to contact me through Canvas message, of course. If you need to come see me in person, I'm in the Pate building on the Bruton campus. My office is the conference room. Okay, here's my course schedule for this term. It's not as busy as it looks, but I am going to be busy. I don't have my office hours posted yet. Once I do have them ready, I will send them to you. I'm still working on a few things with both my family and with colleagues in terms of office hours, so I don't quite have them together yet. I wanted to make this video so be ready for the first day of class. Now, if you do need to contact my supervisor, since I'm a division chair, that would be the Dean of Instruction. Mary Beth Lancaster. She is on the Bruton campus sometimes. Her office is there. She's very busy with meetings and stuff, but she's a very reasonable, very pleasant person. And if you have any issue in the course that needs to be addressed with the supervisor, she can help you. Now, a couple things. We don't have a specific meeting time, but assignments in this class are generally due on Thursdays and Fridays. With the exception of the first week. The first week, I pushed stuff back a little bit to give you a couple of days to get your textbook. Okay, you can read the course description on your own. Prerequisites English 102. If for some reason the computer allowed you to register for this course without taking 102, you need to drop because it is a requirement. You can take a look at the additional course information on your own. It's just breaking down the units that we're going to look at, along with the course outcomes and student learning outcomes. Now, one thing I do want to get to immediately is the Norton Anthology of World Literature, shorter third edition. I'm actually going to stop the screen share in order to show it to you. This is what the textbook looks like. You need to get this as soon as possible. Because of copyright laws, I'm not allowed to post much more than the first week of your reading assignments. So it's imperative that you get your book as soon as possible. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the screen share. Here's the ISBN number if you are ordering it from a place other than our bookstore. But I do expect you to have your book by the first day of the second week of class. Okay. All right, some other required materials. You need to have access to a webcam because not only are you going to have one oral presentation that's not a huge big deal. This isn't a speech class, but you are going to have the camera on you while you're taking your test as a proctor. Okay. Oh, this is still looking at the screen share. Okay, back to the syllabus. So again, here's the ISBN number. You do need a webcam for Respondus Monitor. You need to be checking with your Canvas messages frequently. You can also set up your Canvas messaging to send a notification to your cell phone if you get a new message. Also, I do expect you to have a reliable internet connection. I advise students to go by the 24-hour rule with this class. In other words, you should shoot for getting all your assignments done 24 hours before the due date. Why? Well, in case you have internet issues or something comes up. Okay, other recommended resources. I do recommend that you use a computer as opposed to a tablet or a phone for this course. Canvas works much better with a regular computer. I do understand some students prefer to use their tablet or phone for the class, but it's just simply not going to work as well. Final exam is due on the third day of finals, May 3rd. Okay, make a policy official communication. I'll let you read that on your own. Policy on late work. I do want to emphasize that I accept work up to 3 days late with a penalty, which is a half a letter grade per day late. A lot of my online students, maybe from their other instructors or other online classes, get the idea that I don't accept any late work at all, which isn't the case. I do accept late work, but there is a slight penalty. Okay, Americans with Disabilities, if you have a learning disability I need to know about, please email me. Attendance policy, as long as you're doing the work in the class and keeping up with what we're doing, you should be fine as far as that goes. The last day to withdraw from the class is the 30th of April. All right, course evaluation policy, you can read that on your own. Online classes, do keep in mind that online courses do take a certain amount of self-discipline. You're not going to be successful if you don't carve out time to do the class. Also, I expect a minimum of computer competency. That you can work a computer, you can do file attachments, you can do a little troubleshooting on your own, that sort of thing. And I discuss the 24-hour rule in more detail here. Electronic devices policy, you can read that on your own. It doesn't really apply to us so much. FERPA, I will protect your personal information. Generally speaking, though, I prefer not to talk to parents. I prefer to keep your academics private, if at all possible. Excuse me, I needed to have a drink. Academic honesty. For our major assignments, you will be turning in stuff through turnitin.com, and I do want to emphasize that there's only 4 file types that Turnitin will take. Word files, which is .doc or .docx, RTF, rich text format file, or PDF files. ODT, MWD, or Pages files will not work with Turnitin.com, and I can't accept them. Unfortunately, all of those allow you to convert it to a PDF. Okay, it's up to you to make sure you're submitting the right kind of file when we do our major assignments, like the midterm project or the research project, etc. Let's see, I went over the last day of withdrawal. Here are a few additional policies in addition to the school policies. Course calendar is very reliable. You should be checking it frequently to make sure that you're getting everything in for the course. Now, email and text correspondence. When you email me or send me a text, please use standard written English. Make sure that you are writing in complete sentences, using proper punctuation, all that. In addition, you may use my cell phone to text me or to call me, but it needs to be before 8 p.m. on the weekdays, and unless it's an emergency, please do not contact me on the weekends. And the definition of emergency is my definition rather than yours. So again, if you're following the 24-hour rule, none of this should be an issue. Okay, paper formatting, make sure you read this carefully before we get to the midterm projects. Virtual office hours. When I do post my office hours, the ones that are listed as virtual means you can contact me via email or text message or my cell phone, but only during those virtual office hours. Okay. I don't accept computer problems for stuff being late. In some extreme circumstances, I may take it, but it's really become the dog ate my homework excuse of the 21st century. Please pay attention to this one, the approved research material policy. You can use anything from the library or its databases, or anything that ends in a .edu or .gov. However, all of the sources, including .orgs, .coms, .biz, .net, need my prior approval for you to use. The idea is that I want you to avoid things like Spark Notes, Cliff Notes, GradeSaver, those type of garbage websites that a good college student shouldn't be using. We'll be using the MLA 8th edition. If you need a refresher from your 101 or 102 classes on how to cite properly, you can follow this link here. Okay, nuts and bolts. Now, we're going to have 2 things on a weekly basis, a reading quiz and a discussion board. The discussion board is really taking the place of in-class communication. You're going to have a 2-part process for the discussion board. On Thursdays, most weeks, it's a little later in the first week, you're going to be required to post an answer to the discussion question, minimum 250 words, so about 3/4 to a full page typed. Also, you need 3 participation posts per week. A participation post is a post basically that is going to be your part in the class discussion. So make sure you read this carefully, but you have 4 required posts per week. Your answer to the discussion board and 3 participation posts per week. So make sure you read this carefully to know your requirements. Then we'll have a reading quiz each week. On that week's reading, the reading quiz for week 1 is already posted, and you can see that there. All right, major assignments, tests and essay grade. We have 2 tests during the term. They're worth 150 points each, 30% of your grade. We have a midterm project that's due in, I think, late February, early March. I don't remember the exact date, but you'll be given the assignment very early. The oral portion of this will be recorded on webcam, but again, this isn't a speech class, so I'm not going to ask you to do a ton. The research essay, which the state requires, this is going to be due on the last Monday of class, April 29th, but there's an extra credit opportunity to submit your rough draft a couple weeks early, where you can get my feedback, get feedback from classmates, and earn some extra credit. Your course final exam will be worth 200 points. It'll be due on Friday, May 3rd. A lot of it is going to be the reading past test 2, but some of it will be cumulative. So you want to take good notes on the works as we're going along, so you can kind of build your own study guide for the final. I'm not an instructor who gives a study guide that tells you exactly what's on an exam. That's not the way I operate, but I will provide study guides that will guide you to what to study. Okay, grade breakdown is here. Major dates in the spring are here. You can take a look at it on your own. Reading lists. The formatting isn't so great here. I've also posted it as a file, a document that makes things a lot easier to print this out and put in a folder that's readily available. It's broken down by week, page numbers in the book that you need to read. I also post dates of major assignments. Like, for example, test 1 is going to be due on February 15th. I tell you in here, the Aeneid's on test 1, but the Bhagavad Gita is not. Midterm project is due the 3rd of March, when your final is, when the rough draft is due, all that sort of stuff. Also, a thing you're going to need to pay attention to is at the end of the syllabus on the printed version, I'm also going to provide you with this, is a syllabus agreement. All this is stating is that you've read the syllabus and you understand what you've read, and a little bit of extra information on your part. This will be one of your week 1, assignments that I want you to get done. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Okay, so back to the class. I want to point out a couple things in the modules tab. On each week, that's where you're going to find your quiz and your discussion questions. So for example, you click on discussion question 1, it gives you the question, and you'll be able to answer there. In addition, I will often post things in the reply to assist you with meeting your participation requirements. So sometimes there'll be a video on the work, or a fun question to go along with it. With Gilgamesh, I've got several videos that I'd like you to check out. So be looking for that there. In addition, that's where you're going to find your weekly quizzes. If you need the first reading, if you have trouble getting your textbook, that's right here. There's also a question and answer discussion. Give me, if you've posted a question, you might want to shoot me an email just so I know that there's something in there I need to answer. But the question and answer discussion, if it's a general class question, can benefit your classmates as well. So I do advise you to do that. Also, I'll post, interesting PowerPoints and things like that on the reading that we have that week. And sometimes I'll post these work overviews like I have here. The work overview is not a replacement by any means for the assignment, the reading assignment, but it's something that can help avoid confusion. And that's about it as far as the video goes. I want to have a successful first week of class. I do anticipate lots of questions, so it's perfectly fine. If you have a question, please get clarification. I'd be happy to answer it. But let's have a good start to the class and a good semester, and I look forward to working with all of you.